template hole that can either make or break a golfer's round, and typically a name of a golf course you played might have had the word Knoll in it. Well, what is this template hole that's called the Knoll? To understand that, we have to go back to the foundation of C.B. Macdonald's templates that he brought to America, implemented them across golf courses that you probably played. The hole is based on the definition of a knoll, which is a small hill or mound. That's the green. It acts as a knoll. Typically, it is risen most of the times, if not all the times, unless there's an interesting reverse knoll. But still, it is risen above the fairway and requires an aerial second shot to find the putting green surfaces. The elevated greens fall away on the sides, on all sides, and is typically surrounded by hazards or thick cut grass. The green is often semi-blind because it is risen above the fairway. Balls that just miss the green often run away and make for an extreme difficult recovery shot. Now, because of this, knoll holes are often short par fours, but sometimes they can sneak into 400-yard par fours, and that becomes very difficult as you reach up to this knoll template. Depending on that golf designer, he might have made it pretty flat and simple when you get to the green, while others make it crowded and complicated to make a one putt. Historically, there's been a lot of back and forth for the true template design of this. Many say that the elevation of the green from the fairway must be significant in order for it to be a true knoll. So that has nothing to do with the putting green surfaces when you get to it. So nonetheless, let's focus on the history and give you some examples. In my readings, it appears that the original knoll hole was the fourth hole from Scotscraig Golf Club near St. Andrews in Scotland. And advised to their website, it is the world's 13th oldest golf club, so it has a good rich history. And the fourth hole is called Westward Ho. Now, it was designed by old Tom Morris himself, the great grandfather of golf design, and James Braid. The hole itself plays only 350 yards. At the time, that was pretty long. With modern day technology, me and you could probably make it. The bunker sits at the short right of the green, but this isn't the only bad place to miss. That's because the green falls away from all sides, so it is more important to find the fairway with your drive and set up your approach shot for a successful one putt or maybe even par here on this facility. Now, it's easy to see why C.B. Macdonald wanted to bring this idea back to the United States, even when it never gave his hole much credit in his writings. The version he later brought was at Piping Rock in New York. Now we're going to walk through some of the other favorite template holes that I enjoy. I'm hoping to maybe even play some of the public ones. We have the Yale Golf Club, which is the 14th hole at this facility. It stretches 343 yards. It's titled the Knoll, and it is a dramatic one is out there. There is a mound on the left-hand side of the fairway that pushes the ball to the right. You can also use the bank of the fairway to get much closer to the green as a pinball effect. The hole is named the Knoll in the fairway, which isn't what makes it the template hole, but it's still based on the original Scotscraig design, as Charles Banks said in 1925. The second shot is a lift and hold. The green is elevated on all sides, and the slope is to the left. We mentioned we have Piping Rock Golf Club, the 13th hole there, a par 4, only 300 yards. It might be the best knoll in the world. C.B. Macdonald built this template hole. It's pretty much the foundation that came over to the United States. Missing long here means a drop off of 20 feet below. Getting up to the green will be tough. Like most knoll holes, the up and down is very difficult. We have another course called Fisher Island, New York. That's very private. It's the 10th hole here. It was designed by Seth Raynor, who worked with C.B. Macdonald. Hitting uphill and holding the green is a difficult task and challenging golfers Finally, we have Olympia Fields South. The sixth hole here is a par 4 that stretches only 365 yards and slightly elevated tee down the fairway. And the approach shot plays over a creek and an elevated green, which runs off left, front, and right. The better approach here is on the right-hand side of the fairway, which is protected with much bunkering. That's going to do it for our list. Hopefully you learned something here with the Parfessor and Independent Golf channel.